shine on Happy Camper Life. We're loving, living, and learning online on Happy Camper Life.
Hi, I'm Allison Miller here from Happy Camper Live's Camp Shopping Channel, and I'm here with Michael Silva from QB54. Hi, Michael.
How you doing, Allison? Pleasure to be here today.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk football. It's actually one of my favorite sports. It's the one that I really understand.
Nice.
And I actually love playing. So,
Great.
yeah, so welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Michael Silva. I'm married, have two great kids, a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, and I invented this game with my brother many moons ago. So, Allison, I bet you we're probably the same generation. This was a generation where we drank out of the hose and we didn't come home until the street lights were on.
Yes.
Parents had no idea where you were at. But we didn't have these, right? We didn't have phones, we
Right.
didn't have cell phones. So we had to create our own fun. So
Right.
it's Thanksgiving. It's all of our friends are away at their families celebrating. It's me and my brother, and we wanted to play football. So how do you play football with two people? So we invented a game using two garbage cans and the CB antennas on the back of my dad's pickup truck. And so how we played was you throw the football into the garbage can, that's a touchdown, and then you kick the extra point through my dad's antennas on the back of his pickup truck for the extra point. And that's how the game was born. And we didn't do anything about this game probably, I don't know, about 30 years. And just because, we thought people would think, I don't know, it was stupid for some reason. You're not embarrassed, but you care about what other people think. And I learned a lesson in business. Do not care about what anybody thinks. Believe in yourself, believe in your product, and great things happen. So
I
fast
love that.
forward, fast forward to 2016, and I was like, you know what? I want to try this. I want to make a prototype. Let's bring it to the market. And I was a little league coach in town. I'm from Jersey, and we went to a tournament in South Jersey, and everybody thought I was nuts. I had my mother-in-law make a prototype out of two folding chairs. She sewed a mosquito net to the bottom, and I went to Home Depot and I added some PVC pipe on the back to make the field goal post. And everybody thought I was nuts. Family after family that walked by, I had it set up, and they're like, "What is that? How do you play it? Where do I buy it?" And at that point, I knew we had something. So it was just born out of trying to be creative. And when you're bored as a kid, you just make up stuff. And this is what we did. This is what we did growing up.
I love it. It's so inspiring. And as you're telling the story, I'm thinking back. I'm like, yeah, I remember some of the games that we made up.
Yeah.
So, but to bring it to life, and you did it in such a fun, and I think a really practical way,
Thank you.
when you did move beyond that prototype. So tell us a little bit about the game and how you have it manufactured.
Sure. So the game itself, it comes with, so I call this an entire game of football that's built out of two folding chairs, has all elements of football, completions, touchdowns, kicking the extra point, interceptions, but most importantly, uh-oh. Oh,
I'm
okay.
sharing so
Sure,
everybody
sure.
can see.
But most importantly, no concussions. Nobody gets hurt playing this game.
Right.
This is like football light. It's a way to get kids, adults, anybody introduced to the sport of football without the fear of, getting crushed on the gridiron by some guy who's like 350 pounds like you see on TV. So it comes with two chairs, two sets of goalposts, all that. And you set it up kind of like cornhole. One chair at one end and a chair at the other. You throw the
Mhm.
football, hit anything, you get 3 points. In the basket is a touchdown for six, like the garbage can back in the good old days. And then you kick the extra point through the uprights. And on defense, if you catch your opponent's rebound off the chair, it's an interception. So we get these games professionally manufactured overseas. And since we started selling, we sold over 60,000 units, over 9 million in sales. We got into Dick's Sporting Goods across the country. And my most proud achievement, I made it on Shark Tank last October. And wow, what an experience that was. All
I
from a
love
childhood dream. That's what a childhood invention, being bored. That's how this stuff happens.
I love it too because it's such an inspiring story for campers too.
Sure.
because, campers are constantly making up games, and there's that cabin time and the downtime. I actually just did a post on LinkedIn about this, that downtime when kids are together where you want to just have fun and make those connections. And what I saw, because we brought this QB54 to Tri-State to the camping conference,
Right.
we saw the way that people bond over this game. So it's really a well-suited game for summer camps. And I will add, one of the reasons why I reached out to you is because while there are other types of games that are considered in this like kind of backyard sports category, there really isn't anything that has to do with football. And
No.
I thought this was really unique with the rise of flag football being so popular and having a safe game for kids to play. I was like all in. So that's why I reached out to you.
And I got to tell you, we're in over 500 schools across the country, and we have curriculum for grades K through 12, and for free. And you could adapt those different activities in your camps.
Right.
There's like different relay races and stuff. You could utilize the QB54 set. But the reason I'm bringing this up is I remember going to this high school, and there was the quarterback of the football team, there was the wide receiver, like this, the football stars, and you know who was beating them? The girl that was sitting on the wall, who was afraid to go in and play. She got the courage, went up there, started playing, and she was beating the football team. Could you imagine? Could you imagine the
I love it.
emotion and the confidence she got? So there's a lot of different side effects or byproducts that come from this game. I look at it as a game. So somebody asked me, they said, Mike, why did you start this business? Why did you? And, the first thing is, oh, of course, I want to support my family and stuff, but it goes way beyond money. If you take a snapshot of the world today, everything that you see out there is made to divide us. Everything. I don't care if you're on the left, you're on the right, if you're white, black, I don't care. Everything is made to divide us. This game brings people together. It's about bonding, it's about having fun. And when kids get this game, it's going to be tough to try to pull them away from it. They get addicted to it, and
Right.
and they're active. They're off the phone. They're outside breathing fresh air. They're
Right.
competing and they're bonding with one another. It's amazing.
Absolutely. So the way we set this up for camps is, finding activities, for two or four people, is
Sure,
great for the home, but for a camp environment, school environment, we want the camps to have like everything they need for a larger size group. So
sure,
we bundled these packages together, and you were gracious enough to give us, some camp educational packages
sure.
that, can work in our budgets. So let's like brainstorm a little bit. So here we are at camp. We have a set of three, we have a set of four. I mean, we've got 16 kids now playing at a time, right? And we
Yeah,
set this up anywhere. So rainy days, big issue right now. Weather's so unpredictable. So finding something that you can easily set up. I mean, I wouldn't recommend setting it up in a cabin, like, with kids throwing footballs. I'm not, I would not, I want them playing in my cabin, but right outside the cabin, on
sure.
a rainy day, we have different facilities. It's so easy to set up. I
And
mean,
and
I
you don't need tall ceilings, right?
right.
It's not like you're playing pickleball. I love pickleball, by the way. You can't you don't need tall ceilings. I mean, just enough to throw the football and to kick it through, and it's perfect for rainy days. You can play it inside of the gym, under like a gazebo or whatever that some of these camps have.
Yep. Pavilions. Yep.
And the first thing that I think of when I think of camps, I think big group of kids, I think a tournament, right? We
Mhm.
just finished March Madness, right?
Right.
Obviously it's basketball, but March Madness with brackets. I mean,
Yep.
kids make up, teams of two, teams of four, whatever you want to do. You can play comfortably. I say one-on-one up to four-on-four. And when you have up to four kids on a team playing on the same, their teammates on the same side, it adds a whole new dynamic to the game and it brings so many people together. But when you set it up like a March Madness type of thing, these kids are just going to take it and run with it, and it just adds a whole new element to it. The other thing, so if you go on my socials, I'm doing a contest. I'm going to the draft in Pittsburgh in about 2 weeks. So
Mhm.
here's what I'm going to try, and I think this will work at camps too. You give them, well, the dynamics could be different. I'm doing it. I'm raising some money for a charity. So three
Nice.
throws, $10, and 25 yards. You get one in, you win $500. Okay. Now, camping situation could be different. You're not going to be giving away
We
money.
give them free candy.
Bingo! That's what you do. So
Right,
you set it up like
exactly.
a competition. And
Right.
then you can have a leaderboard and all this stuff. And here's one of the things that the kids won't tell you. So, and they don't know they're doing this, but as they're playing, they're actually increasing their math skills, their mental math.
Right.
There's 3 points for a completion. There's 6 points for a touchdown. An extra point is one. They got to do math in their head. I remember as a kid, I knew my 7 times tables because I was watching football on TV. And
Yeah.
7 times 7, 49. 7 times 3. Oh, that's three touchdowns. One. I don't know. To me,
That's
that's how I
great.
learned. That's how I learned.
I love it. So, taking from that, those are some great ideas. Also, if you could think about some of the things you've brought into the PE programs, just, I mean, one, there's skill building here, just generally, we're talking about learning football, right? And
Right?
football skills. So there's basic throwing and there's the concepts in the game, right? That you're actually playing out. So tell me a little bit more about that.
So as far as learning the sport of football, I mean, if you know nothing about the game, playing QB54, you'll learn terms like completions. What's a completion? A completion is when you throw it and you catch it. We modified that to when you throw it and hit anything, like you're hitting a receiver, we reward you for that with 3 points. Now, with an interception, that's when the defense catches the pass from the offense. On defense, they catch it. So very similar to that, when you throw the ball and you're playing defense, if it hits anything on the chair, goes up in the air, and you catch it, that's an interception for defense, or we call that the tip drill. And that's a real drill in the NFL, in college, and in high school. They call it the tip drill. So you're practicing the ball going up in the air and catching it, kicking the extra point. So you're doing kicking, you're doing throwing. It's a lot of hand-eye coordination that you're dealing with. Now, these camps, I'm sure they have mini basketballs. My
Mhm.
chair has a basketball net. You can play basketball with it. If they have golf clubs, you could chip balls. I have rules for golf on QB54. So think about basketball, we call it hoops 54. For golf, we call it
Oh,
links 54 for
right.
links. So for instance, for golf, if you guys the campers out there have like foam golf balls, maybe you don't want to use real golf balls, but they have modified golf balls, whether it's like the small wiffle ball type of golf
Yep.
balls. So chip it, hit the chair, 3 points. In the bucket is 5 points. If you hit the chair, it's 1 point. In the bucket, 5 points. If you hit the uprights, 3 points. And if you chip it into the beverage holder, which is on the arm, automatic win. I did that. I did that in 10 shots. It was insane.
That's very funny.
So,
That's
and also, these kids can create trick shots, right?
right.
Their imaginations can run wild with this. They could take content, start throwing it up on their camping website or whatever, showing like the trick shot of the day. Compete against other camps. I mean, possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. So when you talk about kicking, so they're kicking, tell me what that kind of looks like in the game.
Sure. So we say set the chairs up 40 feet apart. Now,
Okay.
that's just an arbitrary. You could, if the skill level is insane, you can spread them out. If they're, beginners, put them closer together. So when you throw the football, get it in the basket for a touchdown, you have to kick the extra point. The game comes with a kicking tee. So
Right.
everybody asks, where do you set up the kicking tee? I like to say from my 25-yard line. So what does that mean? You go up a quarter of the way past your,
Right.
from your chair and you kick it through. Some people like to do it at the 50-yard line or halfway. So it's basically kicking the extra, you set up the ball and you kick. You can teach kids how to kick a ball properly. And it's amazing. I've been tailgating at venues for the last 10 years all over the country. I would say maybe 10% of the population knows how to kick a football. And I would say
Yeah, that's why
maybe,
I was asking. That's hard to, but it's nice to practice this
of
way.
course, yes.
Right,
Nobody's exposed to kicking a football unless you want to train as a kicker. Who kicks
right.
football? But in this, everybody kicks.
Yeah, that's really fun because also like in touch football, you're flag football, you're not kicking. So
No,
it's fun to have a different element to the game that a lot of these kids probably aren't practicing. Uh,
right.
so I think that's great. So I have a funny question.
Sure.
So with all the different colors out there, how did you come up with the colors for QB54?
It's a great question. Okay, so when we started out, we don't have NFL licensing, right? We don't have any. We used to have a couple of schools like Michigan State, Rutgers. We had about 7 schools early on, but we dropped, and we're probably going to get back into that. But we never got NFL licensing. So how do you how do you entice those customers to buy a game when you don't have the Eagles or the Giants or so we did research. What are the 3 main colors that most of the teams are made out of? And it's black, it's red, and it's navy or some sort of blue. We branched out. We went to gray, we went to orange, we even did camo. And then, there's the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your sales come from 20% of your products. So, instead of spreading myself too thin, I wanted to focus on the best sellers, and that's what we're doing. Now that we're gaining a lot of traction, I'm maybe interested in going into some other colors. I have a son that's going to Virginia, University of Virginia, and
Mhm.
my daughter, I think she's going to be going to Syracuse. So both of those schools are orange. So I might want to bring out orange and see if that works because you have the Browns, you have a lot of a couple of schools that are orange that in nature. But
And
anyway,
the sets that we put together, I'm just gonna share my screen one
sure.
more time. We put them together in groups. You can get the basic set, this is the retail price. Obviously, we're looking again at camps. So you and I sat down, we said, well, let's put this in groups of 2, 4,
Yep.
6, 10, and we have the black set, we have the blue set, and then we have the red set. And I would
Right.
say for you, in the camping world too, if I probably did an analysis of the most popular colors, I think most camps maybe have one or two because we all have our camp colors,
Sure.
one or two of those colors in there. So
Right.
we did want to incorporate those colors into what we were offering as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I think it really like hits the mark for everyone. And when you were talking about like races and stuff like that, a lot of camps run tons of relay races and obstacle courses. They also have like an all camp relay. We do something like that where at the end of this big event, everybody does different, tasks. What we do is we throw the football into a garbage can.
There
So
you go.
this year, we will not be throwing the football into the garbage can anymore
No,
because now we have QB54.
right.
So I can see that, incorporating it into other events as well is pretty easy to do.
Can I say one thing? So I know one of our schools that has our game utilize this in their health class, like a younger, I don't know if it was 3rd grade, I'm not sure I don't know what age or what grade they start learning about the bones of the body or whatnot. So I don't know about you, but when I'm having fun and I'm learning something, or I didn't think I was learning something, I actually learned something and it's stuck. So the teachers were genius. They incorporated our game because they knew it was fun and also adding an element of teaching. So they had 2 lines. There was a 5-gallon bucket behind it, and it was filled with cutouts of the bones of the body. It was laminated or whatever. And every time you throw the football and hit something, that kid had the opportunity to go into the bucket, pull out a bone, and then they had to properly place the proper location of that.
Right,
And whichever team finished it first won. So
right.
many things are going on. Hand-eye coordination, learning the bone, where to put it, and then putting it all together. And they were having fun the entire time. I bet you they didn't even realize they were learning something at the same time, which is kind of
Yeah, that reminds me of Survivor when
yes,
we do a lot of those kind of challenges at camp.
yes,
I can totally see like having a puzzle And then if you get the target, then you're able to like pick the piece of the puzzle and then run and then, try to do it that way too. So
By
I
the
think there are a
way,
lot of
I'm
fun
gonna
applications.
I'm trying out.
You're trying that?
No, no, I'm trying out. I'm gonna put my application in for
Oh,
Survivor.
you're trying out for Survivor. Wow. That's
Absolutely.
so cool.
Well, I don't know if they'll take me, but you know
I
what?
think
Why
you would
not?
be great. You have such a great
Thank
personality.
you.
And, that's kind of, look, we curate our products for the Camp Shopping channel. Like we speak to a lot of people and we're looking for things that are great for camps. When I met you, which is not a long time ago, it was just recently, I was like, this guy is awesome. He gets camp. He's got that energy and it's such a great product. So I'm really glad we connected. I think you do great on Survivor. So,
Thanks.
and you've got the whole Shark Tank thing on your resume
Hey, I've
too.
I've swam with sharks. I don't know if anybody else has done that on the show.
You did?
Oh, I'm being on Shark
Oh,
Tank. Right.
you swam. I was like, and you swam with sharks.
No, no,
Yes,
no.
you've been with the sharks.
Figuratively.
Yes, I got it. I got it. Sorry.
Okay.
So with, QB54 in camps, if you like, we're going to make a suggestion for, numbers. So most camps, let's say our camp groups are 12, 24, 36. Like how many sets do you recommend would really like make it feel like a full activity?
How many? So wait, how many kids would be in each
12
group?
kids, 24, 36. Those are kind of the size groups that, I like to look
Um,
at.
okay. So I would say for 12, would you say 12, 24, and 36? I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you're gonna have a tournament, I
Mhm.
think it's gonna attract. How many kids are in? There's only 36 in the whole
No, I
tournament.
mean, in camps, we have camps of 30 kids, we have camps of hundreds and hundreds of
Okay.
kids. But
I
I'm
would say
looking
like
at an
the.
age group kind of doing something together,
Got
which
it.
let me just say something
Go ahead.
before I hop on and I'll let you think.
Sure.
It's really having, like you were mentioning, like 4-year-old. I mean, any age group in camp is going to be able to do this activity. So
Any age.
that's another like real plus for me. So yeah, I mean, you mentioned 4-on-4, so you can
Yep.
always have the ability to adapt,
Sure.
any of these games. But if you have like, a group of
I,
12 kids,
I would say the sweet spot is like 2-on-2, right? Just like a cornhole game would be.
right,
So if you have 12 kids, you want everybody playing at the same time, that's 3 sets, 24, you're gonna double that to 6 and then 36. Probably 9 or 10, or the 10, I'd go with the 10. But
yeah.
here's what's gonna happen. Once one of these kids starts playing this game, everybody else is gonna come on over and they're gonna be like, I want to play, I want to play, I want to play. And what you mentioned before, different age groups. So if you have a group of 36 kids that are all 12-year-olds, and then you have a group of 36 that are 10-year-olds, the 10 and 12-year-olds, the 7-year-olds can all compete against each other.
Right.
You follow? So
Yes.
you're gonna need more sets. I would say if you have a good size camp, that 10 pack, it's the best value, and you could do a lot more with it, especially the tournaments, I think would be fantastic. And I think you're gonna get the best bang for your buck, with the bigger package. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to upsell.
No, I'm
I'm just trying to you have a controlled environment with all these kids and they're going to be hungry to do something and to do something competitive. If they're anything like me when I was a kid growing up, I went to rec. We used to call it rec. It wasn't camp. It
yeah,
was rec. And it was a township run. And again, we made up our own stuff. We were playing tennis baseball in the tennis courts. I remember playing that. It was great.
right. It's
Um,
so fun.
but I knew when an activity came and there was a competition that was set up and it was organized, and I'm like, wait, there's like a bracket and everything. I'm like, oh, I got to go in. I got to win this thing because that's how I'm wired.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
love
that's
the
what I would say.
bracket. And I think the brackets are really, really, we were just talking about brackets the other day with my camp, and
Yeah.
talking about, especially with the World Cup, this year, I feel like there's just a lot of interest in, coming out of March Madness,
Yep.
following these brackets. It is really fun. And I think the idea that it's hard to find games that kids can play together that are different ages. So
Right.
if you are a smaller camp, and you have mixed ages and you're looking for something that's a level playing field, I feel like this is adaptable for that too.
100%. Again, they're not tackling, they're not hitting, they're just throwing. I mean, if you think about it from a cornhole perspective, right? You can have a 7-year-old playing against a eight,
Right.
9-year-old, right?